All right, welcome back everyone. After that happened, I went ahead and continued on to work just a little bit more, using again still my warm colors, so the red, yellow, and the orange. But I also wanted to stop and just show this to you guys. I brought the camera a little closer now. I wanted to be conscious of highlights, and so it's really hard to knead out or to erase, like I mentioned before, using colored pencil. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start adding that area now in. So you can use any eraser that you want to. Just make sure if there is graphite marks that can start to pull onto the piece itself. So it's good that you just clean that area out. And just make sure that you have a little placeholder for that. Now you can already have a placeholder prior to that, so then you don't have to erase it out. Okay, all right, so continuing on. Now what I'm going to do is when I look at this particular apple, I notice that there's a lot of darker reds inside of this. And in order for us to get red, as we mentioned before, we can grab some cool pieces or cool color, excuse me, from the color wheel. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna add some reds, some violets into this, so it's like a red violet, also some blues, so then it's like a red blue in a way. I could add a little bit of green, but I don't see so much green inside of here, which we'll talk about the idea of just working with color and seeing that for yourself. Okay, so as I continue on, I'm going to get the violet. Again, I'm making circular shapes. As we have the PowerPoint, we'll talk about color schemes, and basically I'm doing a lot of color schemes right now, and we may not even know that we're doing them, but as long as you use your primary and secondary, you already have a lot of harmonious colors that are working together. As this is starting to build up, it's starting to get more of a darker color, which is exactly what we want. Notice again, we're not using any blacks or grays in this, so we're staying away from those types of tones and shades. Again, colored pencil takes time to work with, but it's super relaxing. So again, be conscious of any highlights that are in. You don't want to darken them, kind of leave them already empty with just no medium or less medium. And continue to look at your objects. You can see where the lights and darks are located. Right now I'm not working with the stem. I will add value to that later. Also, we're not using any browns. Complementary colors will give really neat browns. Right now this is kind of getting a nice sort of warm red brown. And all I've used so far were these three colors. So we can create our own brown rather than grabbing a stock one. All right, I'm gonna go back and add red. So really you're holding on to all these colors close by because you're going to continue to work with them throughout the duration of this piece. It's really neat to see how it starts to come to life by these different colors that you're adding. Now blue is a little bit more dominant than the violet, so I'm going to only put blue in areas that I think would be the most darkest. So for example, at your surface that your objects are seated on, more than likely the very bottom will be the darkest because of not having the light source hitting that. So I would probably add then the blue and also the violet at the very base to really show that sense of darkness. Also be aware, whatever fruit or whatever you're working with, how it has an irregular shape to it. or it may have an irregular shape. And right now it's a really strong line, but you can see that as we continue to build up, that's gonna work for our favor. Okay, so I'm gonna continue working with these three colors, excuse me, these 5 colors. So I have the blue, I have violet for the dark portions. I also have red, orange, and yellow for really getting that brightness of this particular apple. Okay, now again, our primary and secondaries, we're not using green as much. You're welcome to go ahead and add the green, of course, whatever you are rendering. But sometimes, again, these not all of them may not be used as much as versus the other ones. All right, so I will continue on, and then I will show you guys as we get closer to the finished product.